Welcome to the Trellix Spotlight series. My name is Nick, and I will be your host. Today's session will focus on Trellix Cloudvisory and how to comprehend your security landscape. This webinar will be recorded. If you prefer not to participate in the recorded session, please feel free to disconnect at this time. A link to today's recorded presentation will be emailed to all registered attendees. This webinar is a brief overview covering common use cases and scenarios regarding this topic. It is not intended to be all-encompassing. If assistance is needed, please contact Trellix Technical Support. If you have questions during the webinar, please type them in the Q&A window. This webinar may run longer or shorter based on your participation, and we recommend asking as many questions as you can to make the most of this series. If the Q&A window is not displayed, click the tab at the bottom of your session window and click on the Q&A icon. We will answer the questions during the final section of this webinar. If you experience any audio issues during the webcast, please drop and attempt to reconnect. Our presenters today are Megha Shukla, Allison Wong, and Sarawar Sikdir. Megha handles all the product marketing initiatives for Trellix ePolicy Orchestrator, Trellix Cloudvisory, and Trellix Cloud Workload Security products. Formerly, she had been involved with handling competitive intelligence, product marketing, product management, and business development functions for data center and storage products. Allison is a senior product line manager for cloud and data center products at Trellix. Allison has spent over 20 years in cybersecurity and 8 years here at Trellix. She has been a speaker at cybersecurity events around the world. Allison lives in Las Vegas with her son Adrian and her dog Jean-Luc. Sarawar, a founding member of Cloudvisory, currently serves as a principal architect at Trellix. Having accumulated over 20 years of experience in software design and development, Sarawar possesses an in-depth comprehension of the complex challenges organizations face when implementing secure and scalable software architectures. One of his achievements is the patent he holds for the automated enforcement of security policies in the cloud and hybrid infrastructure, which underscores his dedication to advancing the field of cloud security. Furthermore, Sarawar has demonstrated his leadership capabilities by delivering exceptional results to his clients. Ladies and gentlemen, Megha, Allison, and Sarawar.
Hi, Nick. Thank you so much. Hello, all. Now, before we start today's session, let's take a step back and have a quick look at the agenda for today. We'll start this particular session with reflecting upon a few of the key challenges when it comes to cloud security, followed by what exactly security practitioners need, what are some of the key requirements of businesses, what can keep businesses or organizations happy when it comes to cloud security. Thereafter, we'll look at the different milestones when it comes to multi-cloud security, how exactly that particular journey would look like. We'll then introduce Trellix Cloudvisory to you, covering what it can do for you, what are the different benefits which you can get with the product, followed by a deep dive on the product, covering how exactly it will fit into your ecosystem, what are some of the key differentiators for Trellix Cloudvisory, and when it comes to the product packaging, what are the different variants or offerings that we are looking at. We'll then look into a few of the real-time deployments for the product, followed by a few of the industry accolades or recognitions which we have received over the years, and some of the key milestones, some of the key recent milestones, if I may add so, for Trellix Cloudvisory. We'll then move on to a live demo for the product. Perhaps the most important part of this particular session today, if I may say so, wherein you'll get to see, or rather understand in real time, how exactly the console view would be like, what are the different features and parameters which can make a plethora of difference when deployed in your organization. We'll then end today's session with few key takeaways. Moving on to the Q&A segment, wherein we'll be happy to address any questions that you may have for us today. Moving on, when we talk about the year 2022, hybrid cloud was the buzzword for organizations. However, the scenario has changed in the year 2023, with organizations looking into the different aspects specifically when it comes to the private and the public cloud scenario. Multi-cloud configurations or multi-cloud strategy for organizations is the apt or the key word for the year 2023. Now, it could be driven by a few benefits when it comes to the cost and the efficiency perspective. However, this particular strategy also impacts the management processes across each cloud. And remember, we are talking about multi-cloud here. Moving on, when it comes to the challenges faced by security practitioners today, what exactly are we looking at? From a SOC perspective, the cyber professionals are struggling with, as you can see here on the screen, and these figures are relevant as per a recent report from Gartner, which was named as the Hype Cycle report for cloud security. As stated in this particular report, through 2025, 99% of cloud breaches will have a root cause of preventable misconfigurations or mistakes by end users. What exactly that means by us? Misconfigurations are a big deal. How exactly you would avoid them? This is something we really need to think about today. Again, through 2025, 90% of organizations that fail to control public cloud will inappropriately share sensitive data. What this means, cloud strategies usually lag behind cloud use. Now, this impacts most organizations in a way wherein large amount of unsanctioned and even unrecognized public cloud use can create unnecessary risk exposure, which is definitely something which we need to avoid. Thereon, 48% of businesses store classified and important data on cloud. While all that is fine, problems occur when there's a lack of visibility on the data stored across the board. Moving on, what exactly security practitioners need as of today? They definitely need a single pane of visibility into whatever the cloud assets are across the board. They need a process via which attacks could be quarantined even before they happen so that the damage could be controlled. Proactively assessing current multi-cloud configurations against the compliance standard and best practices without having to go after each of these compliance standards, which might differ as per regions as well. Moving on, when it comes to businesses, what keeps organization happy when it comes to cloud security? A single console to provide visibility into multi-cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud infrastructure. That is one of the requirements. Intelligently detecting and remediating misconfigurations and threats across multiple cloud providers. Definitely, specifically when we are looking at a multi-cloud strategy or multi-cloud setup. Ensuring compliance such as CIS, PCI, GDPR, depending upon what the organization's needs are, what the regional implications are, should be taken into account proactively. Last but not the least, integrating with a broad ecosystem of cloud vendors and ensuring that the shared responsibility model can be implemented in the best possible way without compromising on security, needless to add. When it comes to the journey to a multi-cloud security, what exactly we are looking at? We are looking at continuous visibility across the board. Whatever the cloud landscape is, whatever the cloud usage is, we need to ensure what exactly the assets are, where they are, how they are. Compliance assurance, cloud native policy guardrails that identify, alert on, and report risk in the multi-cloud environments. Needless to say, proactively. Automated governance, automated security policy orchestration and enforcements that could help keep the data secure where it is across the board. Now, how exactly Trellix Cloudvisory making a difference for you? Trellix Cloudvisory is a control center for cloud security management that delivers all of these aspects: visibility, compliance, and governance for any cloud environment, public, cloud, private, hybrid, multi-cloud. Whatever the scenario is, Trellix Cloudvisory can make all the difference for you. Now, the next question is how? And to cover that, I'd like to invite Ellison over to share her insights on the product, specifically the deep dive. Over to you, Ellison.
Thanks, Mega. As we've seen with Trellix Cloudvisory is that most of our customers don't understand what cloud assets they have, because Cloudvisory gives you visibility into all of your cloud assets across multi-cloud, private cloud environments. And we do this agentlessly, and we do this continuously by pulling cloud APIs for this information. We're able to help you understand what cloud assets you have, give you an automated understanding of their current security posture, any changes that may be made, and also ensure compliance. As Mega mentioned, right, we have the ability to enforce things like compliance guardrails to ensure that people are staying within those guardrails and implementing best practices. And we can do that in an automated fashion so that if someone builds a system that doesn't meet those requirements, we can ensure and enforce those policies. From a governance perspective, we're also looking at things like your cloud security policies and able to implement things like intelligent network micro-segmentation, threat detection, and response. We also have broad support for cloud and OS vendors. We're the only game in town for OpenStack. So we support a number of customers that have OpenStack on-premise in their private cloud environments. And we also support Kubernetes, Google Cloud, Azure, and AWS. Let's go into a deep dive on Trellix Cloudvisory. The way that Cloudvisory works from a workload and protection and governance standpoint is that we're actually able to enforce least privilege network policies. Because we have an understanding of everything that's going on in your environment, we're taking in data like network flows and understanding what the current state is, all of your current policies and firewall rules you currently have in place. We're actually able to leverage cloud native APIs for cloud native firewalls. So network security groups, we're actually able to use that as an enforcement plane. So this can be used for things like quarantine, as well as we mentioned network micro-segmentation. So as you understand what rules are necessary and what rules are not necessary, we're actually able to enforce that through those cloud native firewalls. We also are able to work within the data plane. So think compute, think VMs, containers, and we can also use that as an additional enforcement plane. So not only at the network level, but also at the resource level. When you look at Trellix Cloudvisory, we mentioned that we're leveraging cloud native APIs, but we also have things like cloud native or native SIM integration. Not only do we integrate with our own SIM, Helix, and our XDR strategy, but we can also easily integrate with third-party SIM technologies like Splunk and have out-of-the-box integrations for those. Trellix offers alerting and notifications as well that can be sent directly via email or through your alerting and notification systems. We also have the ability to implement, as we mentioned, that hybrid cloud policy orchestration through those cloud native APIs. In a Kubernetes world, we do that through integrating at a pod level. And then we also are pulling all of this information. So we're looking at risk management, we're providing recommendations, learning and reporting, compliance governance. We also have out-of-the-box remediation. So we have over 1,800 compliance policies, and for each of those, there's another remediation associated with that. So we can actually fix all of the issues that we identify. And through our flow learning, we're actually able to take in all of those flows and then implement things like security analytics against that. And we're doing continuous discovery of those assets, those events, that metadata, all of that cloud information, the security controls and network flows to pull all of that information together to give you better analytics. And when we look at Cloudvisory differentiators, we're the only security monitoring solution in town for OpenStack. And when we look at the CSPM market today, we are a leader in cloud workload security from a Forrester standpoint, and we're continuing to enhance our capabilities in CSPM. We offer exception handling and inline remediation for compliance failures, meaning you can always ensure automatic compliance and make sure that it's an ongoing process. We're also multi-cloud capable with a cloud-native design, and we offer agentless network flow monitoring and threat detection. We also offer network micro-segmentation and zero trust enforcement. And we have a unified CSPM and cloud workload protection platform. Cloudvisory comes in two different deployment methods. So most of our customers are deployed in a SaaS standpoint. So we manage that infrastructure for them, but we have a number of customers that might be in financial services or government customers that may want to actually run Cloudvisory on premise in their own network or private cloud infrastructure. And we're happy to support that deployment as well. Let's talk a little bit about Cloudvisory real deployments and some of our customer implementations. So today we have a number of telecommunications customers. In this case, we're talking a little bit about Canada's largest communications company. They provide mobile phones, high-speed wireless internet, and the challenge for them was being able to provide visibility and governance into their internal network for their own private cloud using OpenStack. So they've been using our solution for years, and they currently have that Cloudvisory deployed on-premise. The customer is working towards micro-segmentation by improving their network security, by provisioning better network policies. But this is something that often takes time and understanding of a network, of their network. So without a solution like Cloudvisory, this would be a big challenge for them. We also work with a number of manufacturing customers. In this case, we're talking about a global manufacturer that delivers equipment and components and consumable supplies. So for them, we're managing multiple clouds, so AWS and Azure in their environment. And their real goal was to be able to get visibility across all of their infrastructure because they have a self-service method, meaning engineers and architects can build out their own cloud environments. And because of that, they weren't sure not only what assets they had, but what the current state of those assets were. As a result, the customer's transitioning from on-premise to the cloud and leveraging Cloudvisory to help them with that cloud migration. We're also working with a number of consulting and technology services companies. In many cases, they may be managing many AWS accounts or Azure accounts or multiple cloud environments, either for their customers or for their own use. And because of that, there's not only management requirements, various compliance requirements, but also requirements around things like role-based access controls, meaning that if in this case, this consulting technology company is managing this environment for one of their customers, that they limit the visibility and potentially access to some of these systems, and also ensure things like not only compliance, visibility, and governance, but also things like identity and access management visibility. As a result, this customer has been able to demonstrate continuous compliance over time, and they've also been able to implement existing governance processes into their overall risk management process. Let's talk a little bit about some of the accolades that we've gotten for Cloudvisory recently. So in 2021, we were a gold winner on the Cybersecurity Excellence Awards. Cloudvisory was named Cool Vendor by Gartner, and we were recognized by CIO Applications in top 25 Amazon solution providers. And as I mentioned earlier, we're also a leader in the cloud workload security space from Forrester, so appreciate that as well. Some of the key milestones that we have for Cloudvisory, we'll talk a little bit about. One of the things that's newer in Cloudvisory is our ability to do cloud identity entitlement management. So what we are able to do is actually pull the IAM data from AWS and Azure and actually give you an understanding of the permissions being used. So we can actually tell you who touched what, when, where. And this is really important when you, one, think about zero trust and being able to implement zero trust, not only at a network level, but also at an identity and access management level. And also looking at what potentially risky users exist and where there might be opportunities for, say, escalation of privileges. So you might want to So we're going to help you identify those potential gaps and implement policies that can lock those down a bit more. And then we also help you implement things like zero trust network access. So ZTNA is kind of a buzzword these days, but we're actually able to help you implement that. And as I mentioned, we do that through cloud native APIs and understanding of all of your existing cloud native firewall policies. And then we're actually able to help you implement that zero trust network access through agentless network micro-segmentation. So by taking in all that data, all of those network flows, understanding all of your current firewall configurations and the policies applied, we're able to give you intelligent recommendations on how to then segment your network. And we're also able to help you test those policies before you implement them to see what potential impact they might make to your production environments. And now I'll hand it over to Sarwar to give you a live demo of Cloudvisory.
Thanks, Alison. This is Sarwar Shikdar showing you the Cloudvisory demo today. I am logging as a Peter. As you already know, the Cloudvisory is a multi-cloud provider product. Once you log in and you have onboarded all your accounts, you should be able to see all those like cloud asset information on the dashboard. Okay, on this demo, I can see that I have here AWS, Azure, GCP, Kubernetes, and OpenStack assets here. Right now, whenever it's see this one, each of the cloud asset, you have a number next to it. That means how many assets you have on that type of like cloud assets. All right, it gives you that AWS and Azure and all those things. Now you can go each of those assets and see the details of the cloud assets. Okay, what is that one is talking about? Like for example, I can go to AWS VMs. I can click it here, and I can go open up one of those items there and see the more details about its configuration. Okay, when I click that cloud asset, it took me to the cloud asset inspector page, asset inventory inspector page. On that page, I can see my AWS account ID, which region this one is, which VM this one is. We can see all those information here in one place. Now this VM, this is a VM. It attaches to a security group. I can see the security group rules here. Okay, then also if you have activity of those like VMs, you can also able to see it here. Okay, now similar way, if I go to that like Azure VMs, I could see the similar information there. I'm selecting the Azure VMs. It went to that again asset inventory inspector page. If I expand that one and see the configuration, I can see those similar information there regarding for that VM, right? Now I can click that there is a network security group here. I can click this one. It will show me the details, each of the rules, allow, deny, and also I can see it here, very easy to search. Okay, see and search it, how many rules and those are there. Okay, now I can go back and I can show you the GCP the same way. Now for GCP, it does not have the security group. They use the word firewall rules. If I go to the configuration, I can see the configuration. I can see the firewall rules that defined there. And I can also go to the firewall tab. I can see those rules attached to that VMs. Okay. Now, similar way, you can see all other cloud assets. You can see that AWS like IAM user, Azure IAM user. You can get all those things in one place. Okay. Now, Cloudvisory get those information and make it searchable for the user. Okay, that is very easy to search, generate the report, and also schedule a report to get it daily. Does not need to log into the Cloudvisory when a VM got created, or you wanted to see, okay, how many number of assets I have in my accounts. Okay, you can get a daily or weekly emails to do it. How to do it? From here you can go and you can schedule a report to do it. Now, on this page, like any other page in Cloudvisory, you will see that multiple icons there that give you filter search capability, right? Now here I could see all those like information, and I wanted to see, okay, show me my AWS information, and maybe I have a more than one account. Show me the one account information. Then it will show the information for that account. Okay. Now, once you get that in like information, the assets also you can see that is a security like risk number comes up with that. That is, we say the how much compliance is failing or passing for the asset. Now, Cloudvisory does two-way represent those things. One is you can see all compliance errors together, or you can see the compliance error by the asset. Okay, let me show you both ways. Okay, now each of that I can click those numbers like clickable. I can click this number 3. It shows me my AWS account that is name is Cloudvisory. It has 3 critical errors, right? Now each of the error I can click it and I can see the details. Okay, now if this like compliance checked, that one is AWS CIS, GDPR, all those like standard required the checks. There is a button, remediate button. It gives you that how to remediate this one. Or if it is auto remediatable, the most of the Cloudvisory checks are, and Cloudvisory has the right permission, then you can click the remediate button here and you can resolve the issue from the Cloudvisory UI itself. Okay, if you have give the permission to do it, then your administrator can log in. Even if administrator can configure this compliance check certain way, then it could be remediated automatically also. Okay, there's a lot of that is different options. Now, sometimes you can think about, hey, there is a compliance error, but I wanted to create some exception. then Cloudvisory this UI also give you the exception creation. You can click any error for any asset, and you can create the exception. You can create the give a business reason for it and date, and you can create the exception. And what will happen when you create the exception, compliance will keep running, but it will not mark the critical failure for that that checks or that assets. Okay, when the date got expired, then it will start failing again. Right now, you can also wanted to create a Jira ticket from here. You can click it here. You can create a Jira ticket. You can notify the user, or if there is a cost center owner of that assets, you can notify them through the email. You can do all kind of things here. Now, this page, now you've got the critical error. You don't want to log in every day to see this error. You can schedule a report. You can go here and you can generate a report. Hey, send me email weekly, Monday morning, 9 a.m. I want to see this, all the critical failures that I have. You can see it here. And also when you generate the report, you can ask, hey, give me also remediation steps, because I don't want Cloudvisory remediate it automatically. I want my administrator to go see it, they remediate it. Okay, then you can also get the remediation steps and do it. Okay. Now, this is the one where you compliance check inspector is the page where you can see all the compliance check failure together, right? Now I can remove that one. It will give you all error. This is the filter based. Okay, you can see all those errors like here, right? Now on the right side there is a text box. You can search anything you want. You can run that search. Okay. Now let me go to the dashboard. I was showing you that all the compliance failure together, right? Now I want to show that a failure by the asset. How to do that? Now I can select a user. Let me select a user. AWS IAM user. I can go here. Let me show you my username. I can go here and see. Okay, this is this one, that FIP45 44 number, the risk score number is coming up for my user. Okay, now if you see here, there is 37 total check like run, and 20 failed, 17 passed. Okay, each of them check, if you can see it here, you can select it here, and right side similar, you can see the description. There is a remediate button, notify or create exception, or create a Jira ticket. The similar things you can see on other page, it is the same also here. And also how to remediate, you can click it here, that will give you the detailed steps of the remediate. Okay, I'm showing you the AWS. The same thing also true for if you go to the Azure, GCP, and Cloudvisory did the same similar way. As I was showing you in other page, that like a compliance inspector page where there is a search box here. Here you still all those Cloudvisory inspector, the similar search box that give you quick way to search it. Now if I put a test, it will give you the test on all those filters. Let me remove the users, then I can see all those like all the cloud asset that has a test word in it. Okay, it will give you search everything and give you in quick shots. Okay, I wanted to say, hey, search me something that has a server as a name, and go to search. Hey, I found in Cloudvisory the three things. If I remove this one, then it will give you all the AWS. If I remove the AWS, then I search server, then it will show me everywhere. Like it can be AWS, it can be GCP, it can be Azure. Okay, everywhere it will show that is that text I gave, wherever it is. Okay. Now from this page, you can do the same things. You can export the reports. You can schedule a report that get you in the email. Okay, it gives you total like visibility for your cloud assets. Okay, now when I'm saying that, okay, it gives you the cloud assets and this configuration, those things, those are good, but you wanted to know more how your cloud assets are interacting with other cloud assets. Then the network flow things comes up. Okay, Cloudvisory continuously getting the network flow from a BBC flow log, like Azure NSG flow log, and also GCP firewall logs. Okay, then whenever it got those flows are raw flows, as IP address, it has port protocols. Now Cloudvisory get the flow, it does add lot of like enrichment with that flow. Okay, all the information that where this IP address is, what is the geolocation is, okay, what time, and is it blocked? It is allowed. It added lots of information to make that flow searchable, and also make it, you can visualize it, you can see it, right? This the visualization window does that. Okay, now how, if I go here, if you see on this page there's a color, there's two types of, one is solid line and broken line. Solid line means your flow is successful, broken is like it is failed, and I'll talk about the color a little bit later. Okay, now if I click that, now I can go inside the AWS account, and each of the label, there is a node and there is a link. If you click that node itself, on the right side the flow details comes up, you can click it, you can see that. Now you can click IP address, you can see the geolocation of that IP address. Okay, now you can also search. This is the same filter, you can search those filters. I wanted to see, okay, what is inbound for me. Okay, I don't care outbound, you can see only inbound flows. Okay, similarly you can export it for your investigation purpose or reporting purpose, you can do all those things. Now I did that like one of that like object. I can also click that line itself, and if I click the line, then it will show you the similar way. Hey, show the flow here. Okay, and it will show you those flows. That's the same thing, and also the filter is the same concept everywhere. Okay, you can search something, it make your life easier, and also export the result. Okay, you can do that. Now, when you say like I go to level, I can go inside those things. I can go until the VM level where the IP address belongs. Okay, now you can go inside, you can see those things here and the flows, right? This is true also the similar for Azure also. Like if I go back and that one, I can go to the Azure, then I can see the same structure there. Okay, it go on the resource group, then on to go in the VM. And similarly, I can go to the GCP, it go in the project. Okay, that you see the project, but inside the project, then you can see the VMs. Okay, similar thing, similar way Cloudvisory presents to you. Okay, but you can visualize those things. Okay, now there is a color on that one. Color is the, whenever you use Cloudvisory for your governance, then color things will come up. We'll go use that one later, but in the demo. Okay, now this is the visualizations where you can see the flow together, how though your cloud objects are connecting to each other. You can also see the same you can do more investigation with that. There is a flow inspector on the very top. The inspector, you can click that network flow inspector, while you can click it and see details about that flow. That is show you, hey, which VM is talking a lot and how much data got transferred and those things. And click it here and see the details. And similarly, there is a lots of search. You can come up here in the search and find out, hey, remote, any flow coming from remote country like Russia or Belarus or any country, you use, go search it here, and you can find out what flow, what time, what is the IP address. You can find all those information there from the flow inspector. Okay, now I was showing you the compliance. Now if you see that Cloudvisory, whenever you get a cloud object, compliance itself all the time running. Now Cloudvisory out of box, it give you almost 1800 plus compliance checks. And all those compliance checks are if you see the compliance standard, it supports all different kind of company industry standards. Okay, now you can build your own check also, and the beauty of the Cloudvisory product, it gives you lots of flexibility to configure those checks for you. Like I was showing you AWS, that is access key rotation, one of the checks. Then you can configure according to security practice 90 days or 120 days in the Cloudvisory UI. It doesn't need to be the default settings, right? Now, if you need more checks, more than 1800, any new checks you want to create, there is a create check button. Then using this version, you can create a OPA based checks from the Cloudvisory UI. Okay, you can do that one. And also, if you wanted to, okay, I wanted to also do the remediation. I wanted to implement my remediation, okay? Then you can like create OPA checks, and there is edit remediation here. Then you can create your remediation as like your CLI command, okay? If I show that this example, okay, it's say like, okay, is the CLI command. You can run this one here. Then whenever check fails, it will run the CLI command to remediate your issues, okay? Now, Cloudvisory give you like that flows, the compliance, and also it give you more visualization for your identity objects. Okay, you know your like AWS users or your Azure like Azure's like IAMs that show you that one. If I go to inspector, I can go to identity access management. I can click the provider and add AWS, and I can go, okay, show me the cross account like other accounts that accessing to my AWS account. Okay, I'm going to AWS one account. I can see all those like external account is accessing my account. It has some kind of permission there. If you go to AWS UI, it is not easy to find out those kind of information. Okay. Now you can always click and say, okay, what kind of permission it's giving. It will give you the details, all those permission sets there. Okay. You can see it emergent full access. You can see all those things. Okay. Also, it has lots of other options there. You can find out, okay, the permissions given to actor, right? If I want to say like, okay, let's find out that as a user, I am user, what kind of permission the user server has. Okay. Now I can go here and find out I have access to both account. I can click it here. I can see the details access of me. Okay, on there. And there's lots of options there. You can search. You can do a lot of stuff here. Okay. And also, if you want, you can export it and see for okay what is going wrong with this account, what extra permission is getting. Okay, you can get those things. Okay. Now, and also if I go to the Azure, I wanted to see that Azure and then let's see that what actions permission that actor has. I want to see that certain service principal, what kind of access that one has, right? I wanted to find out like CB app demo, okay, the application that I'm running here, what kind of access this one has. This one has a reader access and the tenant group level. And also I can see that like application role, it has those kind of read access for Active Directory, okay, to get that user information. Now you can see all those information right here on this UI, okay, and generate a report for it. Okay. Now you see the visualization, you see that the Cloudvisory compliance is running, you see the network flows is running, right? Now you want to say, okay, how I can see all those things. How can I govern my govern my cloud accounts from the Cloudvisory? Okay, then Cloudvisory give you the governance capability, and it does very strong micro-segmentation. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, let me go to the visualizations, and I was talking about the color of this the flows. Now if you see the color is red, that means that is a non-compliant flow. That means we create a micro-segmentation rule that is not, this flow does not comply with that flow. Okay, if it is green, that means that flow is a compliant flow. Okay, and that is white or gray, that one means okay, there is no policy applied. Okay, let me show you a use case. Okay, that is for AWS. I'm going to AWS use case. There is a scope I saved earlier. Okay, now when you see this this nice view, you can see there is a something green circle, there is a blue, and also the white. Okay, the green one means there is a policy that is applied on it. That means it is enforced. And that blue one means it is in testing mode, and gray one means, oh, I didn't do anything there yet. Okay, let me show you for that blue one first. Okay, when I go to this, click that one on the right side, it comes up the recommendation. If I click the recommendation, I can see it here. What kind of recommendation that Cloudvisory is telling me for the micro-segmentation rules for this VM. Okay, it gives you the rules, whatever data is seeing. By seeing the rules, it's saying, okay, hey, this is inbound, outbound rules you need to open. But we can always go, okay, search, select, and do it. Now, once you go to the testing mode, okay, now if we click it here, if I go to that recommends again and click it here, now this one is recommendation. He's testing only this port open, okay, 8080. Now he's testing. Now when you're testing mode, you can cancel it. Testing mode does not make any changes on provider. When you go to the provisioning, that is the time Cloudvisory write the security group rules on the cloud provider. Okay. Now if I go here, now the green one, if you see on the right side, there is enforced. And if I click this one, if you see the like a golden lock, that means it is enforced. Now, what does enforced mean? Enforced mean Cloudvisory created these security groups with that recommended flows, and it also enforcing it. Right? Means if any user on AWS console go change the security group rules, Cloudvisory will revert that change back. Okay, that one means enforcement. Okay, now and also alert you. The alert is also that is going to alert you and do the revert back. Okay, then alert can be configured to get through the email or other ways. Okay, now the same use case, it supported for Azure's. We can do the micro-segmentation for Azure, GCP, AWS, Kubernetes. Okay, you can do that micro-segmentation. Now I'll show you the micro-segmentation with the flows. On the flow, you can recommend that. You can use the recommendation to create your micro-segmented rules. You can also create your micro-segmented rules using the tag. That means if you have an environment where you need to scale up your VMs and scale down, but you don't want to go create the security group rules by yourself. You want to say Cloudvisory can manage it automatically. Okay, that means if I go on the governance page and tag policy, where I can define and policy. Okay, like if I go show you this one here, I created a policy with the tag app equal to training, and there is a 3 resource in it. Okay, that means that those 3 VMs has a tag app equal to training. If you get another VM app equal to training, that you're going to apply the same security group policy on it also. Okay, that give you great flexibility to manage your environment if you design your environment with the right tags. Okay. Now, when the question of the tag, the subject of the tag came up, I'll to show you that our asset inventory page to show you that you can, if you have a tag, you can make a lot of searchable stuff on that on this page. Okay. Now I'm searching a tag value. Okay, show me all the assets that I have with the cost center tag. That it gave me everything there. Okay, now you can add just another tag. Hey, give me that fine, but show me that one is VM. Okay, then I go here, then I can show you the VMs. Okay, then you can generate a report for it. Okay, that it give you great search capability. It gave you filtering capability, reporting capability. There's lots of stuff that make your life easier to manage your cloud environment. Okay, now you can get the total complete visualization, visibility to your cloud account. You can build more compliance check, run existing compliance checks. You can govern those, make the governance of the security group rules from this UI. Okay, there's a lot of stuff, lots of things I was talking about. Hope it made sense for you, and I will be happy to answer your questions if anything you have. And thank you very much.
And now we'll talk a little bit about some of the key takeaways from Cloudvisory. One of the key things I want you guys to remember is that Cloudvisory ensures visibility across both private, public cloud landscape. And Trellix Cloudvisory leverages over 1,800 plus built-in security and compliance checks to maintain a robust security posture 24/7. Again, we do that agentlessly, leveraging cloud-native APIs. For each of those 1,800 plus compliance checks, we have built-in remediations that help you not only identify those issues, but also resolve them. And Trellix can help you enforce zero trust with Trellix Cloudvisory.
Thanks, Allison, Mega, and Sarawar. As a reminder for everyone, Trellix Education Services offers exceptional training to go along with our award-winning products. If you would like to learn more, please visit the website listed on your screen to see all of our offerings. Now let's get our Q&A session started. I see we have several questions, but it's not too late to add your question. Please type it in the Q&A window to submit. Additionally, take a moment to fill out the survey. Your feedback and suggestions are always appreciated. Where do you start to get control of your cloud environment? It's kind of a wild west out there.
I think for a lot of customers, it's just understanding what they have first, because of the self-service nature of of the cloud. So many times people don't even know what they have, and you can't protect what you don't know you have. So most of our customers start with visibility, understanding where their assets are, and then getting to a baseline for compliance, maybe going with, say, CIS benchmark as a best practice, and then implementing, say, PCI or HIPAA, depending on on the industry that they're in, and then getting to the point, I would say, our most mature customers are actually implementing governance and network micro-segmentation, but that's taken them time to get control, to get to that point.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that one. Can we deploy an on-premises version of Cloudvisory?
Yes, we can. We have a number of government and financial services customers, as well as telecom customers that are leveraging on-premise Cloudvisory. It gives our customers the ability to control their own environment, especially in very secure environments, or where the data involved may be extremely sensitive.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that one. What teams are usually involved in rolling out and managing a solution like this? How many FTEs does it take to sustain something like this one?
Yeah, good question. So I think that the upside is hopefully we're reducing the ask on the cloud team from a management perspective. Often we'll first engage with the cloud team and then work with the security and compliance team to understand their audit requirements and compliance policies and see if there's any need to create any sort of custom policies to meet their needs. So we'll usually in the beginning involve a larger team to do the initial configuration, and then once that's implemented, really the idea is that we'll be able to prioritize and reduce the impact on your team so that they can deal with the things that are going to make the most impact, and allow us to also potentially start helping them do automated remediation for those things that may be high risk but often happen. So some of those baseline things are things like ensuring that that SSH isn't enabled externally, or that anonymous, that there's no root access externally, etc. So we can set up some of those baseline policies initially, and hopefully that reduces the impact on the team. I would say in our largest deployments, we are often dealing with a small team of less than 5 FTEs, even in very large telecom type environments.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that one. How long until I can see actionable results if I implement this SaaS solution?
Yeah, so the upside is with our SaaS solution, we can literally have it deployed in an hour in whatever geo you need, and within another hour of initial configuration, where we set up the policies and permissions for, say, AWS, Azure, GCP, and once we have that environment configured, then we're automatically pulling those APIs on a regular basis and able to bring that information in, as well as network flow data. So as soon as we have that information, we're already doing analysis around that.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that one. How can I see if our risk is actually improving or how to prioritize my greatest risk?
Yeah, so I think Sarah did a great job in the demo of showing some of our risk score capabilities. As you saw, we have an overall risk score associated with all of the assets, and then you can get to a much more granular level on each asset and the potential risks exposed. So for us, we take into consideration not only the risk associated with the potential threat or misconfiguration, but over time also risk associated with the asset. So we'll be able to prioritize those higher risk issues and bring those to the top. And then over time, you'll see as you start implementing things like our best practices, maybe automated remediation, just having a process in place for automating and identifying some of these threats early, you'll be able to see that risk reduced over time. And a number of our customers actually leverage that risk rating as a KPI, as a key performance indicator of their team. Because so often in security, right, we're always dealing with issues. A good day in security is when nothing bad happens. But sometimes it's difficult to understand what value we bring to the team, and so a lot of times a number of our customers have taken advantage of this.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that one. Is there any similarities between Trellix Cloudvisory and any of the SkyHigh product offerings? I'm not sure if you can speak to that.
Yeah, we have some overlap from a product perspective, but we focus on cloud security posture management and cloud workload protection. As you'll see, SkyHigh also has CASB technology and other complementary technologies to Cloudvisory.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that one as well. It looks like that's all the questions that we had for today's session. I want to thank everyone for joining today's webinar, and a big thank you to our presenters, Allison, Mega, and Sarah. As a reminder, a link to today's recorded presentation will be emailed to all registered attendees. This concludes today's webinar. Stay safe, everyone.